5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tier 1 Performance. We got a special guest today, Dre Nelson. Dre, go ahead and tell us about yourself, your background, and your life as a player. Yeah.
Well, first off, thank you guys for having me. A little bit about me. Well, my name is Dre Nelson. Got drafted back in high school to the Los Angeles Angels back in the 14th round. Been playing ever since. So I want to say I started back in 18, got released in 2021. For the past 2 years, just been training, getting myself better, rehabilitating my shoulder. I had a torn rotator cuff, unfortunately, but got through that, got back healthy, 110%. So now I'm getting ready to get back on that journey of pro ball, and just excited for that. And also, as I've been waiting those past 2 years, just been building a lot of certain assets and things like that, just to create some secondary source of income, just to build something for long term for the family. Because again, can't play baseball all my life. Yeah, so got to build something for the family long term and stuff like that. So just been really getting into that business world and just been enjoying it ever since.
Right. Oh man, it's been a long journey for you then, huh?
Yes.
It's been a very long. So taking it back a few years, can you walk us through what was the recruiting process like for you? Like, I know I'm a little bit older than you, so it was very different. I also went to college.
Yeah.
You went straight to the pros. You went straight to the show.
Yeah.
Go ahead and walk us through, starting from like when you were a freshman to like the day they called your name.
Okay, so I went to North Shore High School, came in as a shortstop. So I was like, okay, well, let's see how this goes. Had a senior shortstop in high school, and I was like, that's gonna be pretty tough. He was already committed to UHV, and I'm like, you know what? Just take a spot. It's your senior year, man. Enjoy, have fun with it. I'll try to fill in the gaps at other places. So fortunate enough, had an outfield spot open, and fortunate enough was able to take on that role as an outfielder. So had a lot of retransition, a lot of things because I'm infield guy, natural born infielder, and then I had to get to the outfield. I'm like, okay, now I gotta run more. I gotta get in the green more. Like I'm not in the dirt anymore, so it was a big transition for me. But other than that, I'm a big role guy, so if you need me to play a certain role, that's what I'm gonna do. So played that all the way through high school. Played outfield. Fortunate enough, got drafted as an outfielder, but crazy enough, the first year I got drafted. We went back to instructional league, and they transitioned me back into infield. So I called my coach, and he was like, man, what are you doing back in the infield? And I was like, coach, I don't know. I told you I'm an infielder. That's how that happened. But the recruiting process was pretty simple. It wasn't too crazy. We had a guy a year above me. He got drafted by the Kansas City Royals. Yeah. So he went 14 round as a pitcher and a hitter. And as he was throwing 95 off the bump, that's obviously going to bring scouts. Correct. So fortunate enough, brought no scouts there, so it kind of got my name back on the radar too. Couldn't talk to me then because I was only a junior. So went through that route, and then I want to say my senior year came up, so I had a nice little average going on, but I knew for a fact if you wanted to get drafted, you had to put some jacks out over the fence. So I'm like, okay, am I going to sacrifice my average for some more home runs, or am I just going to stick to what I normally know?
Right.
So I went ahead, made the sacrifice, added more home runs, added more juice to the bat and stuff like that. Hit 7 home runs that year. So I went from 1 to 2 home runs a year to 7. So really jacked that up. So it got my name back on the board. Got to the Angels tryout. Fortunate enough, hit a home run at that tryout. So it just was up from there. And I want to say
that was your junior year?
Yeah, no, senior. Senior year, yes.
Okay.
So senior it was crazy overall, man. Also when I met my wife now, that year we had food poisoning the whole second semester. So it was bad, man. I was at $170 and then dropped down to a $140. Still hitting bombs though. Still hitting bombs. So I wasn't tripping about it. Man, I kid you not. I dropped. We didn't know, we thought she was pregnant, bro.
Oh man,
we thought she was. It was so much stuff going on. You just in senior, like.
And you still locked in playing baseball, trying to get it done.
Yeah. So had to keep it going. I kid you not, we had one tournament I was throwing up before the tournament. Coach came and seen me. He was like, "Hey, are you good?" And I'm like, "Obviously, I'm not. I'm throwing up."
No. No,
So
coach.
the biggest thing for me, I mean, I went out that tournament. I did hit a home run. We were in Manville, and San Jack was there. The Brewers were there. A couple other scouts were there. But again, hit the home run, feeling sick as a dog.
Right.
Came back in and threw up again.
Hey, timing is key. Timing is key.
So yeah, man, the whole recruiting process was a journey. Got a lot of calls from I had more MLB scouts than I did college scouts.
Really?
So that was the big shocker part for me.
Who was looking at you MLB wise, and then who was looking at you collegiately?
So MLB was the Marlins, San Diego Padres, Brewers, Astros for a little bit, the Angels, of course, the Colorado Rockies. It was about like two more.
Half of them. Half of them. Why
Yes.
not?
Oh, the Cardinals, but it was a couple more than that. But and then so collegiate wise, it was Texas Southern, University of Houston. I was a verbal commit my junior year.
Right.
They didn't offer me enough money, so I'm like, we gotta do something about that. Like,
Understand.
Pops can't pay for all that right now, so I gotta take care of that. So
Understand.
started to go the JUCO route, and I'm like, okay, let's do that. So committed to Illinois Central, out of Peoria, Illinois, way up north. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going.
Did you even make a visit up there?
I made one visit. It was the coldest day. It was the coldest day. That was a big reality check. I was like,
Okay, you still committed.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, but that was the only team that really gave me 110% like opportunity.
We want you.
Yes, like we want you. We want you to come. Let's make this happen.
Okay.
That was the only team only school I really seen just have a huge interest in me.
Right.
Because until I started getting those MLB scouts, that's when other schools started coming. This school been there before I started really getting heavy
They
with
saw
MLB
you from the
scouts.
jump. I got you. I see.
So I couldn't complain. They appreciated me from the jump. So I'm like, let's just take that route. So that whole recruiting process was crazy. It was a big journey, a big just mind-blowing experience. 'Cause I never experienced anything like that.
Imagine how you would have been if you were like, you stayed at 170 and you kept playing. You weren't sick.
Yeah.
You weren't going through all the drama, right?
Man.
I'm sure that puts your mind at ease.
Yeah,
But
true.
you still went in and killed it, right?
Yes.
So like, what kind of attributes do you think a type of player the MLB is looking for, or NCAA, like
So I mean,
nowadays? Because I have a different perspective. Mitch has a different perspective. Dads that got drafted in the 80s have
For sure.
a huge different perspective,
sure.
and now the game has changed.
yes.
Since you're a more fresher person to the league than the rest of us, go ahead and tell us your ideal player, what they're looking for nowadays.
So just off of personal experience, I want to say they're looking more for what you can do. Like, can you actually play the game of baseball? Do you actually have an IQ of baseball? Of course, if you have some height in there, it will help. If you have some height and size, that will help.
Can only benefit you. If you're on the shorter side, but
yes,
you love him all. He was a beast. He was a
Oh
freak.
my God, that does help. But I mean, just of seeing the guys that have gone before me, Altuve, of course, that's obvious.
Right.
Dustin Pedroia, all those guys, Ozzie back in with the Braves.
Correct. Yeah.
A lot of those guys and a lot of the guys I see now, the biggest thing is consistency.
Yes.
As long as you have consistency and a little bit of pop behind that and you can play and hold your position, you can actually do something good. As long as you're having the right connections and you're involved with the right amount of people, you can kind of have a better chance to be able to go somewhere and do something for yourself if you're in that right environment. Because I mean, just from being in Texas and Houston, you got all the athletes. Like there's nothing but athletes. That's why people come here. Like literally, like that's what it is. And coming from that, like you can easily say, okay, I go up to another state. All right, I possibly might be a 1st through 5th rounder.
Right.
That's kind of hard in Texas. But if you are in those rounds, bro, you got something coming for you. And a lot of those guys that were in my draft class that were in those rounds are in the bigs now.
Right. We both come from big draft classes. Actually, all three of us have pretty big draft classes. I know I played with Stephen Kolick and Tyler Kolick.
Wow.
We also had Dukoff, who's my age as well. I mean, we had a bunch of guys, Trey Supak, who I played with guys in high school that are still in the league, and everyone else from my travel team that I played with either went D1 or to San Jack, which at the time was one of the best JUCO schools you could go to at the time, right? and then a couple of guys are still playing, and then guys that I played in college are still playing in the league.
Yep.
And then like I played against Bader at the University of Florida, and he was in the World Series literally last year.
That's crazy.
And
That's crazy.
you see that, and you're like, I mean, 2 different lives. But at one point, we were at the same point, at the same level, playing the same ball. So
True.
it's pretty intense and it's pretty crazy. But I mean, that just having that mindset and being able to do those things, be consistent, have a little bit of pop, play your position, know the game.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of kids nowadays just feel like I got to throw 92 and I'm gonna get drafted. Like it's not about it. It's not all about just hitting home runs, because if you strike out 50 times, no one wants you. No one wants you. All right.
Very true.
It takes a lot of things. So you said back when you were in high school, like, am I gonna hit for average or if I gonna hit for power? What kind of adjustments did you make to hit for power? But still, you still hit with a lot of consistency, of course. So, like, what adjustments did you make with your swing, or was it just getting in the weight room, or was it locking in on, studying pitchers? What did you do?
So, I mean, primarily for me, I knew that I could get the ball out the park. So I was just trying to stay consistent at that, but during game-like feel.
Right.
So anybody can do it in BP. I mean, some people got drafted because of BP, but
No, that's true.
when they get in the game, it's like, okay, what happened to that person that was doing BP? You can't really determine how a person plays in BP. It really determines how they play in the game. So for me, I was like, okay, well, every single time I come to the bat, I'm making a good solid contact. Now, let's have a better contact to where I can not necessarily not hit a line drive, but hit a line drive more in a way so I can get it over the fence. And that really got into where, okay, how can I do that?
Right.
So I started changing up my training a little more as far as being able to get my body structured in a certain way to be able to get the ball over the fence more consistently as I'm in the game. Because in the game, my mindset was just hit the strike hard and that's it. Like, don't even try to hit home runs, none of that stuff. And it's kind of like it goes back to that now, like how my mindset is now. It's crazy how I went back to my high school thought process. It is tremendously crazy. And I'm like, well, I have more pop now. I can hit the ball all over the field with ease. And it's like now it makes it more simple because now I understand how to hit, how to get my swing to where it needs to be, and how I can read pitchers and understand what they have, what they going with, and stuff like that. Because again, it goes into film, it goes into all those stuff like video and everything like that, to where, okay, is this guy throwing a certain way? What is my approach to this guy?
Right.
Is he more primarily throwing fastballs? Is he more primarily throwing breaking balls? Certain counts, what is he throwing? What is he averaging? Things like that kind of go into the factor. But when I understood that, it kind of made it easier for me to kind of not necessarily assume, but more so, okay, this may be coming, but still be on time for the fastball.
Right. I think approaches aren't utilized or valued enough. I mean, to be quite frank, when I was in high school, no one really told me or talked to me about an approach, but I had one.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I had one.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids turns out will just go up there and just be like, all right, I'm just going to hit whatever they throw and try to hit as hard as I can. That's not an approach.
No, sir.
That is walking up to a gunfight with a knife.
Yes.
That's exactly like someone handed you a bat and someone else is throwing something at you at like 85 plus, and you're going up there and saying, all right, I'm just going to try and hit as hard as I can.
Yep.
No, it's no plan at all. Do you mind go ahead and sharing what your approach is at this upper tier level that you play at? So,
especially at this level now, as hard as it is, I tend to, and this is what I teach all my kids, I train all my kids, got to do lessons and stuff like that at DB Humble. I keep my approach real simple. I know for a fact that when I was with the Angels, they tried to make it more complicated than what it was, or either tried to have my approach someone else's approach.
Okay.
They tried to have my approach as Mike Trout. I'm not Mike Trout. Okay.
Not many of us are. In fact, I think I only know one guy is Mike Trout.
Mike Trout.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But hey, man, that guy there.
That guy's in a different world.
But they tried to have our approaches as a certain guy that, first off, I'm not his height. I'm not his size.
Probably didn't swing like
I don't have his expertise.
Yeah.
My elbow isn't here. Little stuff like that. Like, all of that stuff comes into play. So I'm not going to think like Mike Trout. I'm going to think like Dre Nelson because I know who myself is.
Because they're facing Dre. They're not facing Mike Trout.
Exactly.
It also factors into it.
They pitch guys certain ways. They're not going to pitch me as if they were pitching to Mike Trout, right?
Right.
So little stuff like that was real big. But my simple approach is just hit a strike hard because I know for a fact that I have the pop. So if I make solid contact, hit the strike hard, it's going to go somewhere. And my biggest thing is also keeping my hands first, because I had a big issue with letting my barrel go first. And again, I would always wonder why I was hitting my left foot. Okay, let's see. When you're bunting and your barrel's first trying to bunt down third base line, what is leading your hands? Your barrel, so you can get the ball down third base line.
Correct.
If your hands are first, now you're pushing the ball this way. So now if I can correct my swing, and make sure my hands go first, I'm more consistent at driving the ball oppo middle. And if I have the opportunity to pull the ball, that's okay. But I'm not yanking nothing down the line, which is what one of my biggest issues was. Right. So me primarily, hit strikes hard, keep it real simple, keep my hands first, and try to hit the ball back up the middle in gap to gap.
Right. That's a beautiful, simple approach that honestly I think a lot of people should utilize more often. I mean, especially guys at the high school level, even if you were facing high school pitchers, and if they're not like within the top of the nation, odds are they're not controlling where they may have the accuracy to throw a strike, but they can't dot it up like a professional player. Like going from high school, my approach was see it straight and over the plate, I'm going to crush it. That was it. You know, if it even spun remotely, I was probably going to take. And if you threw 3 by me, so be it. I mean, I might swing at the 3rd one, but honestly, I had a tough chance of you striking me out, throwing 3 curveballs, right? When I got to college, of course, it got a little bit different. You got guys locating on halves of the plate or thirds of the plate, maybe not dicing it up like professional guys, where that was a whole different other battle when it came to that, facing professional guys. But my approach was at college, it was always expecting the fastball. Look for the fastball, see the off speed up. That was it. You know, I mean, maybe my first pitch, because I was a huge first pitch swinger. If I was swinging at the first pitch, I was only swinging at a fastball. You threw me a slider first pitch, I was obviously taking it, using my timing. Coming down, checking third base, see if I need to drop a drag bunt or something. But I'll always expect the fastball, see the off speed up. That was it. For sure. Stay inside the baseball. I mean, that, and a lot of people, I ask these kids that I coach at DVAT as well. We work together, and I'd be like, "What are you thinking?" And they're just like, "Oh, I just gotta not dip and hit the ball." And I was like, "Okay, but like I need a little. That's a very broad plan. So we need a little bit of more focus. Hit what? A fastball? Okay, good, but where? For a strike? Yes, that's what we need to be thinking. You got to tell your body, you got to tell your mind what you're focusing on. If you don't have direction, how do you know where you want to go, right? You can start the car, but if you don't know where you're going, or you don't have a GPS map to this new location called the hit zone, then you're not going to get there, right?
No, not at all.
So, you know, all these, it's all factors in. And I knew I had that in high school from a freshman year, but not everyone knows this. Or has that. For sure. Right? And I know Mitch had a pretty great approach as well. Mitch had a top tier approach. Actually, I kind of modeled my approach after him.
There you go.
When he left, because he was the power hitter and I was not allowed to be the power hitter when he was at school. So
I got you.
So what was one thing I personally wanted to ask you is, what have you learned being a professional athlete? Like, what have you learned versus when you were in high school? Like, what do you know now versus what you know back then?
So first off, it's a business.
Man, huge shock to the kids.
God, oh my God, it's strictly business. Like, you have some good guys here and there. Don't get me wrong. But I'm always real big on culture, because I came from North Shore. We big on football, big on culture. We always won state championships, as you know. But it's a simple fact of coming from high school straight to pros. High school, it wasn't about business. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about any of that.
It was about the game.
It was about the game, figuring out how to game, figuring out how to be a team player, how to win as a team, how to build a culture, and just grow as an individual in that environment. Absolutely. When you get to a certain pro ball area or whatever the case may be, it's all of you. Like, it's literally all on you. And it's like, okay, I'm a big team guy. At the end of the day, I'm always trying to win. That's not always the case in pro ball. Because it's okay, yeah, let's try to win, but what are your numbers looking like? What are you doing at the plate? How are you fielding the ball? What are you doing? It's not about
piranha. Everyone's a piranha, dude.
So truly understanding that it was a business, I kind of was in the mindset of, okay, do I got to be more of a selfish kind of player, or do I kind of gotta be more like a selfless, but in a sense of, I still need to make sure my swing, this and that is good, but on the back end, hey, if somebody needs help, by all means, I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to try to do whatever it takes to get you where you want to get to. But again, I need to make sure I'm good first.
Right.
So that right there, the business standpoint was really big for me. Once they get rid of you, they get rid of you. It's as simple as that. They don't care who you are.
Strictly business.
Strictly business. I know for a fact that while I was in season, I was hearing from a lot of the guys. While I was out of season, zero contact. So that was a huge shocker. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that's how it's going to be. But it's just understanding that, but not necessarily taking it personal, but just being like, okay, like it's a part of it. Like maybe we didn't get off on the right foot whenever I was there. Cool. But it's a simple fact of, okay, what do I need to do to improve myself so therefore I get better as I develop? So it's like whenever I'm in there, okay, this person cares about his job more than anything. So if he screws up or if something screws up, now it's on him. But it's like, how do you build from that? How do you learn from that? Well, I had to basically just go back to high school again. What was my thought process in high school? The winning mentality of, okay.
Like what got you there?
Exactly. Yeah. And once I started figuring that out, that people really just wasn't really too worried about what I was trying to do, then it was like, okay, well, let's get back to what I know best. Let's get back to who Dre Nelson is. Because when I was with the Angels, I kind of did lose myself for a little bit. Went through a lot of mental breakdowns and things like that because I was thinking more of the team when a lot of people really weren't.
Right.
So it was like, okay, how can I still keep my composure and still be a team player? Because like I get emotional. I get so soaked into, okay, what are we all doing as a team so we can build together? But again, you had guys going left and right. You had guys either getting released, so we had to fill spots. You had guys getting moved up, bumped down. So everybody was coming in from everywhere, moving all over the place. So it was like really, you really couldn't really just build a culture unless it was from more of the coaching standpoint, I guess. But from player standpoint, it's like you knew the person in the organization, but maybe in high A, that culture is different in double A. Maybe the culture is different in low A.
Right.
Like they're coming from different cultures, so it's like, okay, how do you really go about that? So it's just simple of just be respectful to the person. Just be a respectful human being and know that, hey, we're all here to win. When we're in between those lines, bro, it's me and you together. We're fighting against that team no matter what. If you throw a punch, I'm right behind you throwing another one. Like, it's that kind of culture, but it's like the simple fact of, okay, let's have that, but let's also control what we can control personally. And that's what I didn't really understand until then. Like, okay.
Especially at a young age.
Exactly.
You're playing with grown men. You're coming in 18, young, green behind the ears.
Wow.
I mean, I've heard a lot of stories. I mean, it seems like to me you really learned down the organization business standpoint of the MLB. Not baseball, of the MLB itself.
Yep.
And the minor league system is a whole nother dog.
Yes.
If anything, arguably the biggest dog you have to conquer in order to get to the show, right?
Man,
and I mean,
major.
I've heard stories of you go from playing in college or high school as a team to become one individual together.
Yep.
And then in professional ball, pro ball, it's a bunch of individuals playing as a team.
Yes, as you get to the bigs. I want to say once you get to the bigs, all right, that's your culture.
Right.
That's where everything's built because, again, those guys are making the certain money they want to make. They're on TV playing that. So it's like if you don't have culture in the big leagues, you don't win World Series.
It starts with them, right?
Like, I mean, granted, I got some beef with the Astros, but love the guys. It's hometown. It is what it is. But those guys have culture. Those guys look after one another. Like, it's as simple as that. Because I know a guy who just was brought up to the big leagues, Corey Jokes, and that's a really good guy. He's a real great guy, individual. But he kind of, like, let me know on the front end, like, hey, bro, you got to get you right, too. Like, I know you want to win. I know you want to do this and that. But you got to get right, too, so you can be able to get to that level. And then, okay, now let's work as a team. Let's do this. Because, again, in AAA, AA, whatever, you're not really working as a team, but you're working as a team, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, like what you were saying, like the individuals working as an individual team and stuff like that with the individuals in the team, that was big because it's like, okay, you're an individual, but now you're playing with a bunch of individuals in one team. Like, it's not just we're all one. which is in the big leagues, you are all one. Like, yeah, you got paychecks, you got family to feed, this and that, so a lot of pride and egos go into that. But whenever that's not really a factor and you're just there to win, that's where your culture comes in. Because now everybody understands the standards, how the culture needs to run, how the environment needs to be, and that's how you win World Series, that's how you win championships and things like that.
Nice. Yeah, I couldn't said it better myself. I mean, it seems like you, from the start of your senior year through your first year with the Angels, it was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes.
I love a lot. Actually, a lot to learn squeezed into a whole year.
Woo.
I mean,
Most definitely.
most people can't take it. I mean, we've all had mental breakdowns. I think some people in the game have all been to a point where, you know, it's just driving you saying the game's based on failure, and it will drive you to insanity. And
Yes.
only the tough ones can make it out.
Yes.
You gotta be tough to play this game. And a lot of people think that's physically, and it's not always true. And that goes for any sport. A lot of it is mental.
Very
The
true.
mental, the emotional side. The physical, you just actually feel in the moment. So going to the off season now, what do you do for your job? I know me and you work at DBAT. You're also a coach, but I know you also do other stuff.
Yes.
And on top of it, I know you also got your own training regiment.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
how is
yeah.
that running that life, which probably to you is like working 100 hours a week?
Oh my God. It is 24 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do lessons at DBAT on board. You know that. We work there. Do some other things on the side, like I market these. I'm in partnership with Amway Corporation. Really good industry. They have done $9 billion in retail and all that good stuff for the last, I want to say, year or two, and they're continuously growing. So I really got into that, into the business side of everything. Just really learning how to get into the business world, because I know that the business world is different from the professional world of baseball and sports and things like that. And it's just like understanding, okay, a business mindset versus just an everyday employee mindset.
Right.
It's like way up here as far as business mindset. So it's like those people think different. And I know for a fact that it's always goes to say they're real big in reading books, listening to audios, listening to people with fruit on the tree.
Right.
Because I'm not going to sit here and listen to a homeless man on the street telling me about some money. That makes no sense.
Right,
like, that's just in general. But whenever you're trying to build something for yourself as far as a business, who do you go to learn about business? A business owner who has fruit on the tree, doesn't have a job, who understands the business world and can teach you about money, life, spiritual, like all that good stuff and things like that. And then also with the job of baseball and things like that, like of course I want to build my own facility and things like that. But it's the understanding of, yeah, I have the mindset and how can I say it, the personality of bringing people in, but do I know how to run the business to keep it running?
Right.
That's the biggest thing. You got to go taxes and like all that stuff comes into play. Like, yeah, you might be a great instructor, but do you know how to run a business?
Can you run
properly?
the shop?
So that right there is a real big thing for me. So right now I'm in learning mode and grind mode just to understand on how to running a business. And understand like where I can really put my mind into, because again, whatever has your mind has your wallet. That's how I see it. So if your mind isn't really understanding how to run money, listening to people that understand how to deal with money or how to earn money or all the whole 9 yards, it's going to be hard for you to make money. So it's as simple as understanding and learning from business owners who have either done it way before me, who been successful at it. That's one. People have been business owners, but they ain't been successful. So it's like, where you going now? So just really getting myself around people who understand how to live life and have a successful life in all areas of life, whether it's financial, spiritual, all that good stuff. So it's just as simple as for the last 2 years, I've been really transitioning over into the business mindset and also professional baseball mindset of, okay, this is business. Life is business. And the sooner you understand that, the easier it is. And it makes life that much easier and more not so complicated. Because if you start complicating things, you complicate your money. You complicate your relationships with your spouses and things like that. And then everything just comes trembling down. And that's what I don't want.
Right.
So I'm always chasing the higher mindset, the people who have fruit on the tree, the people that understand what they're talking about and have success behind it. Because I know that if they went through the certain things that I've went through, they can teach me how to get through those things. Because I don't know. My parents weren't rich, didn't have businesses and things like that. So it's like, if you really want to understand, like, for instance, if you want to learn about baseball, do you go talk to the guy that quit baseball in middle school?
Absolutely not.
You go talk to the guy that either went really good, like really did really good in college ball or professional ball. It's as simple as that. So it's just a simple fact of understanding that the people who you associate with are the people who are really going to pour into you, and their mindset has to be valued or has to be valuable, because if it's not, you're not going to understand, and you're going to follow the same path that they went to, and it's not going to be as good as you really hope to or intend for it to be.
Right, absolutely. I mean, how do you do all that and then still make time to go work out and then, train at the professional level, let alone most likely, I think it's by yourself, right?
Yep.
Because not everyone's on your schedule. Other people got other jobs. Other people are training at other facilities. They're all over the place. How do you manage that? I know time management is very valuable for a professional athlete and in a working adult.
Yeah.
But how do you handle all that?
So for me, I have my calendar. I know what I'm going through the next day prior to that day, because I know for a fact that if I don't have my calendar set up, I don't know what's going on. So normally, typically, I can just go throughout the day. On a typical day, I do my workouts, get my lift in. Either if I'm not running late or whatever the case may be, because I do a lot of reading at night, because that's pretty much the only time I do have the chance to read a book. And I'm real big on reading now, because that can help me in my mindset.
Right. Knowledge.
So working out in the morning, if I have the opportunity to get there early enough before I start doing my lessons and things like that with the kids, I do my hitting and defense. Other than that, I do my lessons with my kids, and then after that, whether or not I have either a business meeting that night or a couple of calls I need to make or things like that. And that's kind of how I go about it. But primarily, if I feel like I need to get more work in with my swing or defense or whatever the case may be, that's what I look forward to getting done that day, along with getting work done and doing lessons and things like that. But it's just as simple as keeping a calendar on you and just understanding how your day needs to go. Because again, if I have some downtime, that's when I either make calls for my business or I go and do some baseball work or something like that. So it's just understanding that, okay, what's my day going? Because again, my day might 75% of the chance it might change. So it's like, okay, how can I go with the rhythm of the flow and keep it moving? Because say for instance, a lesson cancels or something like that, I have an hour free. What am I going to do in that hour? Am I going to call some people for my business, or am I going to go hit? I can do both, either one, or possibly, don't forget, eat. Everybody probably like
he didn't say social media, TikTok.
Oh no,
none of that. Scrolling.
No.
Although for those of y'all watching, this is learning. I take that as a learning episode. But notice he didn't say, "Oh, I just go chill in the break room and relax, keep my feet up."
No.
Everything he said was going forward.
Yes,
being productive. All right?
For sure,
and
for sure.
That's the key. He has no time to.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do, and instead of you wasting that time, you could be getting better in front of something towards your goal every day, right?
For sure, so that's real big. And at the end of the day, everybody has 24 hours in a day. But how are you prioritizing those 24 hours?
Correct.
That's the biggest thing. Because I know for a fact that, okay, would I rather suffer or lose sleep now, or would I rather lose sleep 40 years from now? Which one am I willing to sacrifice? Because I know for a fact that, unfortunately, I mean, my dad was still there, mom was still there, but were they there as enough as I wanted them to be? Not as much as I would want to be. And that's any kid, of course. Like, of course you want your dad, mom, they're 24/7 a day, giving you attention, stuff like that. But it's not always the case. But it's like the simple fact of, did they have the opportunity to be able to have that life? Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to be able to have for my kids and things like that. Because I know for a fact that if I don't build now, it's going to make me, I'm going to have to pay for it later.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd rather pay the price now of success than pay the price of failure later. And it's not necessarily failure, but it's the simple fact of you don't really have as much options, opportunities as you do now, especially this day and age. Because back then you can go and get a job and you can live good. You can get a pension, you can do all those things now. But now it's like it's either because jobs are going in and out. You got Walmart, they're getting rid of jobs quick because they're bringing the robots in. We heard about that a couple of years ago, and I'm like, man, they're just messing around. No, that was serious. They're getting robots in there because why pay a person when you can just get a robot to do it? And it's as simple as, okay, now that's limiting the job aspect, and it's like, okay, what's the next route? So for a lot of people, plan B is a business.
Right.
And that's what I love most about it, and that's why I'm real big into it, because I know for a fact that once I understand the business aspect, I can really control my time, I can control my money, I can do whatever I want, and it's not capped off as far as what a job would do for you. So I've learned that just in being in business, and I know for a fact that the people that I'm in connection with, these guys don't have jobs. They don't have to report to a boss every day. They don't have to report to a job. And it's like they have options. They have the money in place to where they have options. Everything's taken care of. Bills, car notes, whatever it is, it's taken care of because they sacrificed early in the years when they can, when the mind was really bright and things like that. Don't get it wrong, though. The mind is always bright. But when you're young, you're able to do a lot more.
Right.
You don't have any kids just yet. You have a lot more spare time and things like that, because at the end of the day, a lot of our generation now, they're not thinking about the future. They're thinking about then and now. And it's like, okay, well, what happens when your kid comes? Reality check. So it's like now you got to really start trying to get into, okay, what am I doing with my money? Where am I putting my money? But why not just do that anyway? Why not learn about that early on, so therefore that wouldn't be a big issue whenever you do decide to start having kids and things like that. So that's the biggest thing for me, man. But other than that, just understanding how to keep a schedule and keep my calendar going, because if I'm not being productive, I'm losing the day. Correct. And I know for a fact that the day ain't going to stop for me. It ain't going to stop for anybody. So it's like I need to make sure that whatever I'm doing throughout that day is productive, and I'm learning something as I go throughout that day.
Yeah, I mean, could have said it better myself, honestly, you know. Let's kind of switch gears for a little bit. Sure. We're winding down towards the end. What is your biggest regret in baseball? Or what is one thing you regret about your career or something that happened? Whether it's like, man, this game back in high school, I could have won the game and I didn't swing when I out of pitch that I should have, or maybe it was like, I think I should have went this way in this route on my recruiting process, or maybe I shouldn't have been on this team. Maybe I should have. What is one regret? I feel like every athlete has one big regret. Kind of want to know.
So for me, if I'm being honest with you, I really don't have any. Because reason being is because I know for a fact if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have learned nothing. And I wouldn't be here to be able to teach somebody what I've learned. Because if I didn't go through those issues or those problems or things like that, I wouldn't have the mindset I do now, and I wouldn't understand the game. But I mean, of course, everybody wishes they can go back and do things, yes. But it's like, if you didn't go through that, what would you have learned? That's my biggest thing, because I know for a fact that if I didn't suck, I wouldn't have made sure I got better to get to that next standpoint. And I know for a fact that a lot of successful people fail. Fail. The most successful people, they fail the most. And that's anybody. You can go to the billionaires, the millionaires, trillionaires, whoever you want to talk to, and ask them, hey, how many times have you failed? They will tell you they failed over 1 million times. But the biggest difference is they learned from their failures and kept moving forward. That's the biggest thing. Because again, if you don't have any failure, what's your teacher? Right. And that's my biggest thing, because I knew if I didn't suck then, if I didn't strike out then, or if I didn't screw up then, it wouldn't have got me in the mindset of, okay, bro, you need to fix this. We need to learn what's going on.
The game actually does it for you.
Amen. So that was the biggest thing for me, because I know for a fact that once I understood that, okay, now I know what I got to work on. A lot of people that have all success throughout their life, when the real world hits, woo, that's not a slap to the face. That's a punch to the face.
I understand.
And it's simple as, okay, they didn't allow life to teach them any failures. So what do they learn from any of those successes? They've won all their life. So it's like, well, dang, I've won all my life. So now what did I learn from that? Like,
And I think that's a good point, because before you even get to that point, you got a lot of people that lose that don't learn anything at all.
yes,
They just lose, or they strike out, and they won't even think about why I struck out.
Yes.
Or I didn't get this job. They didn't think of why did I not get this job.
Yeah.
They immediately assume it's someone else's fault.
Yep.
They immediately say, oh, the umpire screwed me. Or, oh, no, she probably liked another candidate. That's why I didn't get picked up, because, someone played daddy's hand.
Yeah.
Instead of like, maybe I should have boosted on my resume.
Yep.
Maybe I shouldn't have wore jeans to an interview. Maybe I should have wore a suit.
Man.
Or maybe I should have been seeing that off speed up, looking for the outside, because the umpire's been calling it the whole game.
There you go.
Like, no one, a lot of people don't learn from their mistakes. They take the mistakes and they fail, and then they either A, give up, or B, blindly try again. And if you don't learn, you're gonna lose again.
Yes.
In the same fashion.
Yes.
It's okay to fail. It's okay to lose. For me, from my experience and my way of saying it, it's not okay to lose the same way over and over and over again.
Yes.
Right? Definition of insanity.
For sure.
Doing the same thing over and over again, and you expect something to change.
You cannot do that.
You can't do it, right?
Yes.
So if you keep failing and you don't know why you're failing, you got to stop, take a moment, learn, evaluate, analyze, come up with something new, something different, or something, change something, and then reapply it.
Yes.
You might have to test till you stop failing, or you might be able to see it right off the bat.
Yeah.
But it is a process that people have to go through, and a lot of people stop at that last step of learn from your mistakes and your failures.
Yes.
Right? And then back to what you were saying, what did those guys that were at the top do then? Right? What are those guys that have won their whole life, now that they've lost? Will they learn?
Yeah.
Or will they just call it that's a fluke?
Yep.
And we're gonna run it back.
Yeah.
So
and that's the biggest thing too. I know a lot of people that either when something goes wrong, they play the blame game. Right. And it's like, okay, like you said about the job interviews and stuff like that. Like, if you go to a job interview with a do-rag, bro, what do you expect them to say?
Exactly.
Like, you can't expect them to look at you and then not necessarily what are you going to blame the race car? It's, oh my God, it's all that goes into that. But it's like, how did you approach the situation? Did you approach it with a good mindset? Like, did you be professional? Did you do this? Did you do that? Like, people are so blind to the fact that, okay, what did I do? What was my fault? Sometimes it's not always the case.
Correct.
But a lot of the times it is. Because again, first impression is a really big, important thing. And if you're going into a certain environment for a certain job position or something like that, you gotta dress a certain way. And it's like, or you gotta look a certain way, or you gotta be you, but in a presentable way, professional way, to where you're not coming off as somebody that you're not, because you're assuming, oh, I got to be more perky because I'm here. No, you got to be yourself, as always. Not ever saying change who you are, but understanding what environment you're in, because if you understand what environment you're in, then you understand how you got to approach that environment, because certain environments aren't okay with certain things, and that's just the way the world is, and that's as simple as that. But
wise words.
It's as simple as, okay, what could I have done better? What did I learn from the situation? How can I improve?
Right.
Once you figure that out, okay, maybe possibly go to the same interview. You might get the job this time because of the way you approached it differently and things like that. And a lot of people, I feel like, are afraid to ask questions. Hey, what did I give off? What did I do wrong? Like, what was it that made you not pick me?
Right.
Now, some people might give you the most sorriest answer in the world. Hey, this and that, or it's not you, it's me, and it goes that way. But it's not that. But again, you go through so many trials and errors that you understand the pattern. And once you understand the pattern, you can be able to be like, okay, this is how I went this way. Let me try this way. Let me try this way. Keep trying until you finally figure that one.
Right.
And then you can continue to go that way. And then also, once you learn that, now what can you do? Teach somebody else.
Right.
That's my biggest thing. So that's what I love about it, because I went through all these years, and I tell all my kids, now I officially have 20 years of experience of baseball. Because I'm 23, started playing when I was 3. So it's like my biggest thing for the kids is I'm gonna condemn and shrink all those years of me playing with experience, all the struggles that I've dealt with, and teach you what I know is a better way to go or a better way to approach a certain situation, because I've went through it and I failed at it, but now I'm better at it. So now I'm teaching you how to get through it so you don't have to get through it and mess up.
That's the exact premise of what Tier 1 Performance does. That's our whole point. We want guys that have been through it all, and we're giving back to, you know, kids that back then would want it. Like, for me, I know for a guy that I would want a guy like me to talk to me as a baseball player or an athlete in general and tell me to do the things that he knows that I can do now at that point, right? Yes. I felt like I always worked the long way around. I worked harder, not stronger, or harder, not smarter, you know, in those different ways. And, you know, I feel like it took me a long time to learn how to hit a slider. And I felt like it took me forever how to hit an outside fastball for a home run. Right? But, like, it went, instead of it taking 25,000 swings until I was like, this is it, I know this is it. I could have had someone come in and instruct me maybe for one lesson and be like, I know what I'm talking about. I hear my credentials. This is why it happens. Give me an example of why it happens. Actually show you how to do it. And then next thing you know, like, oh, that's what you need to feel for. That's what it looks like. Work on that. And then maybe it takes 5,000 swings and I have it, versus the extra 3 months of me pouring in hard sweat. You know, just I wish I had someone to do that. And I'm glad that's what you're doing. But if someone wants to get a hold of you for this knowledge, or to follow you on your journey back to the league, to the show, or just to use you as a role model, where can they reach you?
So y'all can reach me on Instagram or Facebook. Just search up my name.
We'll also have it on the slide at the end of this.
We'll so yeah, just search it up from there, and you'll be able to get in contact with me. I want to say the easiest way to actually get in contact with me for is necessarily baseball information is just call up D-Bat Humble, and they'll be willing to, my front desk guys will be willing to assist you and get you in direction to see how my schedule is and things like that. And I mean, if you just want to even have a open conversation with me, I'm primarily always at D-Bat Humble, doing lessons and training and things like that. So just come on by D-Bat Humble. I'm sure you'll see me and say hi, say what's up and stuff like that. If I don't know you, please acknowledge so I can know who you are. And yeah, we can get to know each other and things like that. But I'm always open book. I don't like to hide anything, because the thing about it is, if I'm trying to hide something, that means I'm not being real. And I'm real big on being real, because I know for a fact that a lot of people that I've came across aren't real, aren't authentic. And it's like, I don't like you. Like, that's just me. Like, if you're not authentic, I don't want to be around you, because I know you're going to sugarcoat something that I might need and might be valuable to me.
Right.
And I don't want you to sugarcoat that. Like, if you got to cuss me out for me to understand it, cuss me out so I can understand it. If you got to tell me a certain way so I can, that's what I want. I want real, I want authenticity and things like that, because the biggest thing for me, I've never ever been taught to sugarcoat something or be around the bush, because of real life is too real. I don't have time for you to be telling me, oh, you'll be good, you'll be this and that. No, tell me how to be good. Encourage me, of course, but tell me how to do it. Tell me how to get better. Tell me how to do these things and that. And that's what I love about from the leader aspect. A leader is going to actually show you how things need to be done, how things need to be run. So my biggest thing is I'm going to continue to be a leader, but also you have to be a really good follower first. But that goes to say you got to follow the right people. That's the biggest thing. Most people will be like, yeah, I'll follow this guy, but does he have fruit on the tree? Is he where you want to be in life? That's who I tend to follow. And also, are you willing to help me out of the kindness of your heart? Or do I got to pay a fee to talk to you? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But just being, just understanding of who I want to be and who I set out to be, those are the people I'm looking for to pour into me, so therefore I can do it, pour into other people as well. Because I know for a fact that if I can understand what life really is, how to go about a certain situation, I can go through it, make my trials and errors, learn from it, and then I can be able to tell somebody else from my personal experience how to go about that situation. If it works for them, cool. But again, everybody has to go through their own situation.
Absolutely.
Just because of what I said, it might not fit well for you. That's perfectly fine. I'm just giving you tips. It's up to you whether or not you take it or not. So other than that, best way to get to me, just shoot me out on Instagram and stuff like that. I'll definitely check you. I got guys out on that. I'm not really that one guy that doesn't really reply to things. I try to reply to everybody. If I don't, it's either because I'm really busy or I just wasn't able to see it. But yeah, that's a great way to find me.
Y'all heard him, Instagram and D-Bat. Call him up. He'll be there all the time. And Dre, really appreciate it. Hope to have you on again soon.
Yeah, always.
I'll see
For
y'all.
sure.
Y'all take care.
Peace.